special edition of CUG Connect. On this edition, we're going to be doing something very critical to the health of your business, to the health of the Nigeria's economy. We'll be looking at, the critical elements of the purchasing power of an average Nigerian and how it affects the health of the economy and how it also affects or brings about inflation or increase in interest rates, as the case may be. And we have, special people in the studio today to share their experience with us. You know, if you have been watching this program that comes to you from G Consulting International Services Limited, you will know that we usually have the Group Managing Director of G Consulting International Services on the show as our regular guest. And today he's here as well, Dr. Godfrey Ajayi-Sunday. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Osai-Lume. Yeah, this is an expanded session.
Yes.
And we'll keep improving and giving the people the best.
Wonderful. And very importantly, we also have one of the partners of G Consulting International Services, an experienced personality and someone that have been both in the public sector and in the private sector. And he is here to share with us insights on the economy and how it affects your business. Welcome to the program, Mr. Oloyede.
Thank you, Mr. Osai. It's good to be here.
Wonderful.
And we're sure that this is going to be a wonderful one.
Exactly. So for you out there, we are interested in making sure that you receive the information that you can use. And today we're going to start with a review of the first quarter 2024 activities. Now, we're going to drill down into some basics. One of them is what affects you. Now, we heard recently that DSTV has rolled out an increase in their prices, because we know that for an average Nigerian, television programming is important. You use television to hear news, to watch news, to watch programs that are interesting to you. And so how does this affect you? Knowing that if you can't afford to subscribe or renew your subscription for DSTV, it becomes a problem, sometimes not just for you, but for your children. So let me come to Dr. Godfrey. How is this playing out for an average Nigerian?
Well, if you look at the history of television viewing in Nigeria, you remember in those days we had only one network. They called the largest network in Africa. Okay, so much later, the pay TV came on board, where we will now have 24-hour service. And I will tell you that DSTV had held on to what I would call a sort of monopoly. Because again now, there are some channels you want to watch across the world, except you are hooked up to DSTV, you may never connect to those channels. So we shall be looking at vis-a-vis the increase in tariff on DSTV, which has been very consistent in the last quarter. Up to like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
You just wake up now and you're hearing that DSTV has increased their tariff. So we're going to look at really what they are doing and the implication on the MSME and entertainment as it comes across Nigeria. And possibly we can talk about other countries like Kenya and probably Kenya and South Africa.
Recently, to the point that you are making about how it's critical for MSMEs and the economy as a whole, the court, we have that the court kind of restrain them from. So, Mr. Oloyede, what is your take on this increase in tariff by DSTV?
Well, I think it's become one too many, because I remember my children, because of some channels that they need to watch on DSTV. I had to continue to subscribe after the last increase. There was an increase in 2023, early, then almost the last quarter of 2023, there was an increase. Now, the first quarter of 2024, there's an increase. And I feel that it might deny people from getting some sort of information that either will come from DSTV, because Nigerians are not smiling. And any small amount of money added to subscriptions on TV and information will affect us subscribing and they will not be able to watch those channels. After all, those channels, some of them will not even watch them at all.
Okay, so what I tried to do was I tried to see in Kenya they use also DSTV, and of course South Africa is their home base. Okay, so what we try to do is to see this increment, is it across board, and we try to look at bouquet per bouquet to see. We saw that
what's obtainable in other parts of the world.
Other part of the world. South Africa being their base, and we saw that the increment also takes place across Kenya and even across South Africa. But when we look at the per capita comparison, we discover that Kenya is a bit higher than Nigeria, even as at today's subscription. While Nigeria is second, and South Africa is there.
The lowest.
But a lot of people have put up with quite a number of arguments to say, look, why can't we do pay as you go? Okay. Now their subscription is monthly
Per
based.
month, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So whether you watch or you don't watch, once you make that subscription, you must make that payment. And you know, of course, MTN and Glo had that fight until Glo showed that look, there can be something like per billing system. DSTV, they are, giving us wonderful services. Well, I think it's get to the time now that we should go to
per billing
method. Apart from that, to say, look, if I need only 5 channels, let me just subscribe for only 5 channels.
Yeah.
Why subscribe for a million channels that you
don't watch?
You cannot even watch those channels per se. So the increments we've agreed here is too rampant. And again, if you must do that, then we must get to the point now where we start talking about a billing system.
So, but the issue for me is, taking sentiment away. Let's look at the fundamentals. All right. You made mention of something in your first intervention. You talked about monopoly. That DSTV have become some sort of monopoly. So let's look at the sector, the satellite television service sector.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have competitors that are competing with DSTV? And what are the differences? What is making them, not to be able to compete effectively?
No, that communication came up strongly after the birth of AIT, and they felt that they too should go satellite. But it will occur to you like, look, most South African companies tend to be a bit monopolistic in their tendencies. What do I mean by that? When MTN came, it was like it's going to be only MTN. Okay, so the same thing with that communication. If you want to be a pay TV provider right now, you discover that DSTV has already taken up some channels, especially in the sporting arena. Okay, so they've bought over those channels, and you cannot air those programs except you go through them. So I think it has to be something like government coming in now to ensure that other service provider come on board to be able to render same service. When you talk about monopoly, once it comes up, there is nothing you can do, because again, they bought over those channels and there's not anybody. It's only government who can come in now to say, look, you must leave this environment to be liberal for other players, even though it's capital intensive.
Yeah. So it's a function of regulatory capture. We'll come to that. Okay. But what is your take?
My take is that I think about some years back, a channel came up, and a paid channel came up.
The TS or something.
DSTV.
No, it's not DSTV.
Okay.
This testing is just no. When they came up first someday, and they tried to load into the monopolistic power of DSTV, which is the super sport, where Nigerians want to watch football as it's been live, as it's been played. So he came in, and that very year he got license to show those football matches live. But only God knows. The following year he could not pay for the license.
Yeah.
So that means that there would have been a sort of I don't know, it's arguably recklessness on the part of that particular
organization.
How can you lose that license? Because it will have been able to break the monopoly of DSTV. That's the main issue. The monopoly of DSTV, football. And Nigerians can watch football 365 days a year. If you like that. So I think that DSTV having monopoly, government coming in, government too have to be careful to be able to bring up some entrepreneurs that will actually give
I mean you
run for their money.
you have Star TV there,
Star Times.
Star Times there. So the point I'm raising is that DSTV has bought over some of those critical channels. I mean, like Star Times right now is unable to air those matches because DSTV holds the exclusive right. So no matter how much you are as an entrepreneur, so all government ought to do is to say, look, you cannot, if for you to broadcast in Nigeria, you cannot hold exclusive right to some of these channels so that you can give other people opportunity to be able to play also in the industry.
So that is something, because I think it's also high time we begin to mention some of those government agencies that have the responsibility to do this, like the likes of NBC.
NBC is there, NCC is there.
NCC is there. Then the ministry itself,
it's
the
also
Ministry
there.
of Information, is also there. They have a responsibility to look into, because what you are saying is very, very apt. Is the problem that the organization is not the problem of the entrepreneur. And I think the point you are making is the TSTV. It's TSTV that launched and bought that right for the European Premier League for that year. And the next year, DSTV went back to EPL and jacked up the price.
The bidding price.
You understand? The bidding price, which made it practically impossible for this newcomer to compete.
I suspect because he could have run for a good year successfully and then he will lose out. So everybody like FCCPC, that is now fighting, went to court over this issue. They are doing the right thing. So that what the government needs to back them up to ensure that this monopoly does not stay.
That they break the monopoly. I think it's high time that they
apart from that, what I see also with the increment, if they have a certain targets, I'm talking about DSTV now, as like a target for the year is 1 billion. I see people dropping out. So for them to be able to hit up that target, they have no choice than to increase the price. And that's why I also see the reason why they are always increasing the rate.
Because they go and do those kind of bidding and make it practically impossible for people to compete, other broadcasters, other pay TV service providers to compete. Then they bring back the price to the consumers.
That's true.
That is just what they are doing.
That's true.
And for me, like you mentioned, the FCCPC is a critical aspect. The consumer protection have to come into play in this.
Yes, it should not back out this time around. FCCP is always back because this has had their way several times.
Yes.
So for them to be able to write to government or appeal to government to do something about the monopoly, it will get a long way to help Nigeria.
Even the National Assembly.
The National Assembly, there is an allegation that the National Assembly has been compromised several times by DSTV. But I think what can happen, what could be the difference, because we have been trying to handle it from the National Assembly side, from the...
No, it's just to make a law now to say, look, there cannot be, will not give room for monopoly.
No, because it's a free market economy. So there are some laws that might not be able to work. But policies, it can be driven through policies. Like we are talking about FCCPC now, should come into the matter as a way of consumer protection.
To protecting the consumer.
Yes.
Because there is high dropout rate now. For me as a person.
No. I decided that instead of subscribe to DSTV, I will subscribe to internet.
That's what I also decided.
On my neighborhood platform that I belong to, if you see they have been selling another version of this.
Yes.
I don't want to mention the name there. People are really going to buy it. And people are installing it.
Yes.
In fact, it is very cheap. And they have this, they will not show it live, but immediately they start, after 10 minutes, they will join, and then they can watch Premier League.
Which is most important. And if you go to the rural area, the sports, those football matches, is dear to their hearts.
I'm telling you. It's what, in the midst of all the troubles and challenges of Nigerians, this is one thing that,
that at least reduces the tension.
I think CNN said they did a survey to say, is it Lagosians or even Nigerians are the happiest people in the world?
You understand?
We just encounter those problems, and by tomorrow we are moving on.
We are moving on. We don't have wahala with that anymore. So, but I think our conclusion on this subject is that FCCPC, NBC, the Ministry of Information, NCC,
and even the National Assembly themselves.
And even the National Assembly as well. You know, they need to redeem their image from this perception that people are having that they have been compromised. You need to redeem your image by coming out hardly on this matter, coming out strong on this matter, and let Nigerians know that you are representing them, you are working for them. You know,
and as also a fallout for DSTV. I'm sure they are doing their research and discovering that the fallout rate is dropping seriously. So they need to be able to see, work the way the telecom industry. Because again, the Gen Z right now, they don't even have a television.
Yeah. They are on their phone 24 hours a day. You know?
They don't take their money to go out. They rather take that money, buy a tablet, then do an unlimited subscription, and they are on their own.
You know, that is why Google Meet has even gone ahead to provide you an aspect. Are you on the go? They'll give you Google Meet on the go. You know, right? You know, so I think we also understand to a large extent the position of DSTV, especially because of the fluctuations of the currency. You know, forex has been a problem in the for businesses in Nigeria. But again, you know this better. You can do syndication, you know, to be able to cushion up some of the losses that you might be incurring. You don't need to make your profit in one year. You know this better than we do.
Yeah, we at COG Connect, the reason we're talking about matters like this, that we know that there are some enterprises that are DSTV based. They are agents that patronizes and sell DSTV service. So if your prices keep going up, we have the extent of losing out those people. So at the end of the day, we'll end up
losing those businesses.
We'll end up losing those businesses, and that would lead to more of the unemployment rate that we have at the end of the day.
Exactly. Yeah. So we love DSTV. We love DSTV. We love what you guys do, but we are concerned about the increase in tariff. The frequent, consistent increase in tariff, and how it's going to affect not just the viewership of your platform, but the value chain businesses that are attached to it, so that we don't lose those businesses as well. Thank you. So we'll move quickly to the next issue on the front burner for us at the studio today. The issue of Lagos-Calabar coastline highway. Now, this is one project that a lot of people are agitated about. There are those that are in agreement, and there are those that are opposing the fact that this project is coming on at this time, especially when it is said that the project is going to be for 8 years. And the humongous amount that has been budgeted for it. Let's take it from Mr. Loide.
Yes, more so, the project might be a good one. Government might think of years after, at the end of the day, it will be benefit to Nigeria and Africa.
Like a legacy project.
However, the timing, I think, is a little bit awkward. Because and then the awareness is almost not there. Nigeria just came from the everybody started talking about it, and that is why you see stakeholders like politicians, like people that contractors, everybody is talking about it. I think it's time that we change the way we present things to Nigerians. Let us know about this project. Let people talk about it. If as well are faulting the procurement process. They are saying that it's not completed.
Because people were just blindsided with the procurement process. And some experts are even questioning, do you think that there was a procurement process in the first place?
More so, is that this time with this government. So, what are the things they have done before this time that Nigerians don't know? We should also know that, so we know that the amount you are putting on it now is justified. For the
so the takeaway from your own point of view is stakeholder engagement is poor.
It's poor.
I think we need to communicate this to government in clear terms. Stakeholder engagement with regards to especially this project is quite poor. What do you think?
Some other people argue that look, it's a good project if you ask me. For us to be in the League of Nations, to be able to compete, there are some infrastructure deliberately that we need to possess, and one of them is the coastal highway. Okay, so now the internal roads in Nigeria, I want to challenge the Minister of Works. I want us to fly from Abuja here to Maiduguri and drive from Maiduguri to Lagos. Then from Sokoto, we drive down by road with me and him from Sokoto to Port Harcourt. let's see whether by the time he finishes that journey, whether he's not going to fall sick. Okay, so the people are arguing to say, look, most of our internal roads need to be in top shape. So by the time you are able to fix all the internal roads in Nigeria, then you can now start thinking about a virgin project like the Calabar Coastal Highway. I mean, the last governor of Cross River State duped us. He talked about the deep sea port when there was no architectural drawing of that project. He talked about the super highway that for 8 years he was
superintending Cross River State
over, and today we cannot find that kind of
internet service, everything.
we cannot find that road.
That was the promise.
Okay, so let us try as much as possible to avoid white elephant projects. Okay, let us first of all concentrate on the internal road, fix them. Okay, so that you can make a choice to say, look, I want to from Abuja here, I want to go to Lagos. So the decision of whether to fly or to go by road. And don't forget that going by road is tourism in nature.
Yes.
Okay? Your friends coming from America now to see you, and they want to see the landscape of Nigeria. So we want to be able to see how we can drive from here, for you to be able to see Port Harcourt, to see Ondo, to see Ilesha, to see all those beautiful scenarios. But as I tell you now, I can tell you, we did an episode to show that there are no roads in Nigeria right now. Okay, there are no roads in Nigeria right now. So let us first of all focus, and that is the problem that we kept telling this government. You know, May 29, subsidy gone. Okay, sometimes last month, Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway.
Just from nowhere.
Okay, and for me, why do you have to start from Lagos, where landmark event center is already holding sway? Okay, and you have a property that took them 6 years to build, and in 6 hours you brought down that project
without any
and meanwhile your road has not started. So why can't you go and start from places of least resistance? You go to the middle of the road where there are no activity, and you start the road from there. And by the time you start the road from there, the people will now start saying, look, this is a good project, talk off for the government. So for me, I think that this road should be suspended immediately. Even though we realize now that the Landmark Event Center, which they already have bookings for upward of about 6 months. People from all over the world coming to see Nigeria by virtue of the waterways around the
coastline.
Yeah, the coastline. And now that property is down. And the people are now complaining how they are thinking of how to refund money for those who are already subscribed. And today, we're talking about how we can get people to come to Nigeria, to come and see the beauty of Nigeria. And now, the little tourist activity that we're having, we're bringing them down. Imagine already 2.5 billion has been paid for compensation. Already. Okay? If we are taking that 2.5 billion to do our internal roads and we're able to enjoy those internal roads, we cannot move agricultural produce right now.
Yes.
Okay? You know, if you want to test the goodness of the road, let us go to Jos. Jos is a hub for small small poultry production. Yeah. Let us try to transport egg. Okay, let us take a small truck and load it with egg to transport it from Jos. I tell you that half will be broken by the time you get to Abuja.
Yes.
So these are the irony and the things that we're talking to the government about.
Also, many people are involved in egg business. They go to Jos to buy and bring to
other states,
to Abuja and other and beyond. And you can imagine that some of them will buy. You see how they wrap it. They have to pack it. It's the cost of transportation. It has gone up because drivers know that this egg must not break before you get to Abuja. So all these things will do to consideration. The internal roads we need more than that particular road.
I think the fact that we need the internal roads to be in good state is something that is known by everybody. But there was something that Dr. Godfrey just pointed out, which for me is striking. And that is the fact that why begin the project in Lagos where you have landmark events, which is a legacy business, which is, a business that is contributing to the economy.
Yes.
A business that is also bringing, tourists into the country and contribute to the economy, not just for Lagos State, but for the whole country.
Yes.
All right? And you begin that coastline project by demolishing that very facility.
For me, what they should have done is to, start the project from the middle.
From the middle.
Okay? And you probably have like 2-3 contractors working on that project simultaneously. So what do? You start from the middle. One is going towards Calabar, the other one is going towards Lagos. By the time you approach Lagos, there would have been a way to navigate.
It's 8 years project. So at least that means 2-3 years from now, you might not get into Lagos as part of the project.
Yeah. So there have also been the option to navigate away from the landmark event center. And if you cannot do that, you give them up to 2-3 years to wind up that phase that will affect it.
And my have to another spot to say that.
Exactly.
So that's what is called a human face. I mean, I was listening to Femi and Nicola Pokuti, who was saying that, look, he buys into the project because now he's able to drive along that road to see the coastal highway. Even though a lot of people have criticized him to say, look, you should know that people's money has gone into this project and quite a number of things have happened.
And many of those people that are working in landmark and other beaches there.
Yeah, they're going to
do their job.
Yeah.
Of course.
If not, or not totally, but for some time, the man cannot pay you when you are not actually working. And the place is not functioning. So all these issues are into consideration. And then we will have this issue that we have in our hands.
All right, so we move to another key issue now that affects you as an MSME, as a business owner, or even as an individual. And that is the key issue of